Well, this is the AK47 Bullpup chassis, the AKX2S, developed by Center Balance Systems. They have a wide array of bullpup chassis for many different rifles. Mosin Nagant, Sega 12-gauge shotguns, the AK47 SKS. The reason I went with this bullpup chassis system was, the big issue was the ATF just came out with that open letter stating that they were going to be considering that SIG arm brace when it's put on a pistol. If you put it onto your shoulder, then they're going to classify that as an SBR, and then it does become an illegal firearm unless you have paperwork for it. You don't have to do that with this. This is a full-length rifle. The barrel is a long rifle barrel, and that's what distinguishes an SBR between a long rifle. So this is still a long rifle, but you still get the length of an SBR, but without any of the paperwork and none of the added fees, no registering it, no trusts, nothing like that. Now, the second reason why I decided to go with this system was because this model, the X2S, there's actually an X1S. The X2S has this notch right here, and it actually comes with a gas block. A gas tube with that notch cut out as well. So you can drill and tap into your piston and actually have a left-sided charging handle. And it comes with all the parts. So right there, for you to go ahead and do that conversion. Now, in my opinion, that's going to make the AK in general just a much more efficient firearm. Then add in the bullpup system, making it that much shorter. In my opinion, that's going to make it a much better system. Now, you can purchase that gas tube separately and still have the left-handed charging system without actually converting it into the bullpup. So, if you're interested in that, you can still order that separately. Now, I have seen a couple videos where they've had issues with the magazine, where it wouldn't come out very easily or wouldn't go in very easily. So I was actually very concerned with that. And I found that some of my magazines worked really well, others didn't work at all. It was just a pain to get the magazine out and also to get it in. So what I started doing was I'd look at, like, this was the magazine that was working the best. This is a very old Tapco magazine. I noticed that the front lip right there is actually worn out a little bit. So it's a little bit shorter than what the other magazines had on them. So I started filing down that lip on the front and discovered that made it much easier to insert and eject the magazines. So here I have a PMag from Magpul. I had to file down that lip just a little bit, and now it comes out easily, and then also going in is pretty easy. Also, you can just take one of these 20-round magazines, and those ones work no matter what. You don't have to do any type of modifications on those. Those come out easy and they go in pretty dang easy. So no magazine issues for me once you make the modifications to certain magazines. Now the Bullpup came with everything you see on it except for the backup Magpul sights and the muzzle brake I have on right here. Everything else came with it. I really like the pistol and forward grip system that they have on here. I think it's spaced out properly, and I think it's just really, really comfortable. It also has a fire and safety selector right here. Up is safe, down is fire. You can still use the original fire and safety selector, but when you are shooting it, it is a little bit awkward reaching over there and using that original selector there. It does have a bolt hold open lever right here, which I'm not really using very much because, again, it is a little awkward engaging this and also charging back the charging handle back there. Once I get that left-handed system in there, it is going to make that much more efficient and much easier to use. So I am planning on putting in that charging handle there. Let's see, the trigger is actually, there were some people that had complained about that. Now it is kind of sloppy right here. Okay, side to side it does wobble, but it is actually still a pretty decent trigger in my opinion. So there is a little bit of slack that you have to take up, but that's just the AK trigger, which is in this trigger housing right there. So you're going to pull. Let me turn the safety off on this. Okay. So it's still a pretty crisp trigger pull. And then there's the reset. And then there's the pull again. So it is actually pretty nice. It isn't nearly as bad as I was expecting it to be. So it is still a pretty good trigger. It is just a little bit sloppy right there, side to side. But in my opinion, it really wasn't that big of a deal. I thought it still worked really well, and I didn't even notice that sloppy side-to-side movement once I was actually shooting the rifle. So I still think it's pretty good. The rails on it, sides, left and right, top and bottom, they can all be removed, so you can customize the chassis pretty much any way you want. The only thing is if you remove this top one, you can't put any optics or sights on there. So I'm not planning on taking that top Picatinny rail off anytime soon, so because I want the optics on there.